Hi, my name's Gloria, and I'm here today with my special guest Lance. And this is my first day of doing a show by myself. I'm usually here with Michael Marsh, our Constitutionalist Party. You may have seen me as a guest on his show. Here today because we have major concerns about what's going on in our government buildings, concerning our rights to have children, our rights to have a home and a job. And these concerns are real concerns of ours, and we're trying to rally the people. So we the people are standing for we the people in hopes that some of you will join us in the fight and the cause to alert the people as just how serious this stuff is. Today you sit there, you may have your children, you may not. We reach out to those of you who don't have your children and those of you who like to keep them. And same with our homes and our jobs. We have real concerns about these. The government establishment and our bankers are slowly and quickly, on one hand, trying to divert all of us to streets or to not have any children or be parents or the right to an education. We ask today that you bear this in mind, as you said, we said in our comfortable homes, that nobody's immune to this. This agenda has no colors, it has no policies, it has extra policies and no death. It's death as a left-hand man. So today I ask that you keep this in mind again and bear with us as I try to produce my first show with my guest here, Lance, and it's also his first time. So this will be interesting, and thanks for listening. This is Lance. He's a gentleman who's recently lost his home. He's not doesn't have any children, thank God, or establishment would probably have them by now too. So welcome, Lance. Lance?
Hi, my name is Lance. I'm just glad I'm here today. It's hard for me right now. Just lost my home and my job, and it's really hard. So, but I'm really glad that I'm here today.
That's good to hear. That's good. It's hard to stay positive in such a negative world with everything the way it is. So tell us a little bit about where you used to work and
I used to work over at Garden Foundation over on Cherry Street, and I was working really, really hard, and next thing I came home and I had an eviction notice on my door, and then I put all my stuff in storage. I lost my storage because I didn't pay for it. So
yeah, that happens to us. We've been there. We've all been there, or if not, we can put it on the agenda that it may be our next step. So how long did you have your job, Lance?
I had my job for quite a while.
For quite a while. See, so it doesn't just happen to new timers, and it doesn't happen just to people who don't have a job that need assistance from the establishment that ask for assistance. It happens to all of us. This thing knows no colors, and it's not racist. It hits all of us, and it's an equal opportunity tragedy. So bear this in mind as we discuss today the different things that could happen to you on your road to homelessness, and how it is to be treated likewise by the police officers in your local towns, or by citizens that drive past you that may snort up their nose because you're holding a sign needing help. Like I said, it's not racist. We all get treated the same in this deal. So bear that in mind. So, could you tell us some of it?
It can happen to anybody out on the streets. It can happen to somebody driving their car. It can, next thing they lose their license, or they'll lose their home, they lose their job. It can happen to anybody around here. So.
And so tell us about places to sleep. Is there a lot offered to people who don't have a place to sleep? Where do you go at night when?
I go usually at a church to sleep, or I just crash behind a building and stay warm, or I just walk around all night.
Yeah, that must be hard, trying to keep police from harassing you, or have you been harassed by the police?
I have. I've been harassed by the police so many times, and one day I slept at the park one day, and an officer came up and woke me up and say, you know what, you need to leave.
And these are public parks, by the way. We pay our tax dollars. They're open to the public. So it's a sad thing to think that you can't even spend half an hour or an hour sleeping somewhere that's paid by our tax dollars in public parks. Albany, Oregon, they seen what a tragedy and a fast-growing pace of numbers that was arising in homelessness, and they opened their parks and made it a city ordinance where people could sleep on the benches at night or during the parks at nighttime from certain hours from 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, or 11 o'clock at night till 9:30 in the morning. These are things that we should bring in front of our legislators, and that, or we may be the next one that's needing a place to sleep and find ourselves being roused or kicked and thrown out of a public park. One gentleman in Coos Bay was walking across the park at night. He also was homeless, and he was arrested for trespassing in a public park. Seriously? Is this what we want America to come to? So what do you eat? You said
I eat usually at the mission sometimes, or I go to Salvation Army and eat, or I go to a church and get a box lunch or something like that. But I pretty much eat breakfast, dinner, and lunch.
All at once.
All at once.
So not only has he lost his home and all of his belongings, he's now allowed or able to eat once a day. For people who have diabetes or health issues, this could not be something that could be good for somebody that may be losing their income. I know that there is a law now that says that if you want to rent a place, that you have to pay you have to make 3 times the amount of money that you pay for rent. So if you're trying to rent a place for $300, that means that they want you to have an income of $900 a month. Well, nobody that I know of that has SSI or disability gets a check that's $900. So what's going to happen to these people? Are they going to be what they call street rats or homeless people or bums? And by the way, the bums that they're referring to are the same people who fought the Vietnam War or these other wars that gave us our right to be free, to have our public parks, to be able to walk up and down the street without being thrown out of parks or harassed in the middle of the night. So keep these in mind when the next time that you walk through your door, and thank God that you have what you have.
One day, I was holding my sign one day, and this person reached out and yelled and said, "Get yourself a job."
You had a job. He had a job. He had a good paying job. What happened? We don't know. Why was the note on the door? Was it too many? Who knows? But the point is that these issues are real. There's people every day that are losing their children who may not ever see them. They'll get visitation rights for maybe 18 months or something until they decide to slowly take these kids and permanently put them in foster homes or adopt them out to different venues that they have. But we need to stop judging people because they're holding a sign. Just because you have a sign, a job today and a roof over your head, there's no guarantees. You could be there for 15 years at a job. And with budget cuts, they want to downsize the amount of money they pay out. So the person who has 15 years experience that's getting $20,000 or $15,000, you know, for half a year, you know, that doesn't guarantee anything. It'd be easier to get rid of somebody that's been there for 15 years than it would be to have somebody there for 1 or 2 years and cut them and only be getting rid of maybe $400 or $500 a week that they'd be paying out. So seniority doesn't mean anything now to these people. What matters to them is money and downsizing their numbers and their statistics. And people are human beings, and we need to be treated like people and not like stray dogs or animals that are running the streets. So there are different ways and things that we could do to make ourselves safer, but that doesn't guarantee that the cops aren't going to harass us and give us a ticket, and next thing you know, they're in the jails or for trespassing on public property. So you were stating earlier that there were places that help people, you know, get showers, and
Yep.
Can you name some of these
There
people?
is a place over at let me see here. There's a place over called
I think you mentioned the Ark once.
Arches, and then there's another one, the Mission, and then there's another one. It's called I forgot what the other one is.
Hope.
Hope.
Was it Hope?
Hope, yeah. But those are the only ones what I know that you can get clothes,
Showers.
tents, sleeping bags, and all that good stuff for the homeless.
And we appreciate those people, and we want to say thank you to the missions and these churches that have taken time for us people,
And
we the people.
I agree. One more thing is they should start opening up the churches around here for the homeless more, a lot more.
Right, a lot more. Maybe they need us to do certain things. This is something that Michael Martian from the Constitutionalist Party and myself will check into, and get some of these people to maybe volunteer. Maybe it would be easier to volunteer, or find out what they need, what kind of status they need to be able to open their doors and feed the people. Do they need more? Do they need donations more? And support your people. Support these churches and institutions that are helping the homeless or the people without children or that need a blanket to stay warm at the night. Because people love to go camping, but when you've been camping for 10, 6, 7 months in a row because you don't have no place to go and you're getting harassed by people or everyday common citizens, people who usually wouldn't take the time to judge people, but because you're holding the sign, like he said, they told him, get a job. He had a job. We have jobs. You have jobs. We have kids right now. Some of us don't. And but like I said, we the people need to start standing together and letting the state and the government know that we're aware of what's going on, and we're not going to tolerate it. We're not going to tolerate our tax dollars and our votes being, scrutinized and turned around to be used against us, to be arrested at these issues. So, I'd like to share a few ideas on today. Lance and I were talking earlier about different ways of staying warm, making places to, how
Like
to
little
eat.
shacks.
Little shacks that people can stay warm in by taking branches of the trees and stacking them on top of each other and making a leeway like this so that the water runs off. Taking blankets that you wouldn't necessarily think would be waterproof or could keep you dry, and going around and tying them around the trees and making walls so that when the water rains on you, that it comes down the sides and keeps you warm, and so that you're blocked away from the elements of the event. Winter's going to be here before we know it. I know summer just got here. But there's going to be times when you're going to wish that on nights that you were staying warm and not know how. There's ways to get around this, and if we the people get our homeless and other people and start combining our efforts together, and donate. If you have if stuff you're throwing away to the Goodwill, remember, and they sell stuff. These churches and these institutions that are offering free meals, free stuff to people, sack lunches and that, Think about this the next time you go to dump stuff away. What could you be giving to an institution that's not going to charge, that someday in return you may find yourself in needs of? Because I'm a true, firm believer in what comes around goes around. And so if we want to eat from a good table, we should be dishing out from a good table.
Yes,
if we want to have blankets when we don't have none, we should be giving so that it comes back our way. Karma's not always bad.
I agree.
Right, and what else? Can we think of that would better inform the people, or and these need to be these people need to be thanked. That are helping these
and have
homeless
more
people.
meals and stuff for the homeless.
Right. If we had more, there's every day our restaurants they throw away tons and tons of food. And because it's marked wrong, or because that there's a few places like Little Caesars, I know that they donate their stuff to free food banks and help in that. If we all gave what we wanted to get back, what a wonderful world we would live in.
Yeah, I sometimes go to like McDonald's or something, and sometimes they give me like free coffee.
Right.
Or free hamburger or something. They ask me, "Are you hungry?" Yes, I am hungry.
Yes, they are hungry. We're hungry. People are hungry, and they're hungry for knowledge, not only for food, but for knowledge. And these people, these institutions that he mentioned, there's the Nancy Darville Center in Coos Bay. They let you do. They have an institution. All their people are volunteers. They get nothing to go there every day, and they work for free. They make sure that people have blankets. They make sure that people have food. They make sure that they have coffee. They give them food when they leave the building. They have a place where they can do their laundry. And laundry's not much unless you don't have nothing to wear. Everybody puts in laundry every night, and they take it for granted. But they shouldn't take these things for granted, because at the drop of a hat, I've seen people with good paying jobs that have 2- and 3-story house with the boats and yachts and vacation places lose it in an instant, trying to get their children back from DHS, trying to keep what they have, trying to get their loved ones who've been wrongfully imprisoned, or that maybe they did do a crime, and these people are being, you know, judged on faulty agendas and policies written by Kevin Mannix and others who are targeted just to keep the prison industries in business. So if you have a loved one that's in prison, if you have children that are in DHS, or you know somebody that does, reach out to us, and we in return will reach out to you. We are going to do a lot of shows. We can be found at CCTV, and we encourage you, if you'd like to do your own talk show or like to be on the air, to come and share your stories, because with you and your ideas, together we can make this a better place. I seen a sign one time that said, with a little charity, we'd all be happy. So again, I ask you to support your churches and your ARC and this Hope Building that offer. And if you have a way to, or funds that you can get a washer and dryer to some of these people who are allowing people to take showers or feed them, you know, or if you have food to donate, you know, don't throw it in the trash and have somebody try to become a criminal just because some veteran wants food at night. You know, offer it, you know, put it someplace where it's accessible to the other people. And we support you by eating at your places. We get sometimes, most of the time.
And like, you can be losing your place tomorrow or the next day or whatever. It could be, who knows? It can be tonight. It can be tomorrow.
Yeah, you never know when you'll walk home or up to the door and find an eviction notice for no apparent reason at all. Maybe it's because they want 3 times the amount of rent. Maybe it's because, you know, you have a few people knocking on your door because you have a nonprofit and they want help.
Right.
You know, these are real issues. These are real agendas on your legislative tables right now as we speak, and they're targeted just at people, and they're not just the poor people. It's everybody's included in this. So,
right. So I'm glad I'm here today. So.
Yeah, and I'm glad you're here today too. This is we right now in America we have more empty houses than we have homeless people. Their houses, they're still in houses, and they can't do anything with them. They can't rent them out. They can't resell them.
There's earthquakes. There's whatever. You know what I'm saying?
And yes, and we need to be prepared for these things. We need to stock up, help stock up, you know, instead of donating to the Goodwill. And I have nothing against the Goodwill, except for, you know, a lot of us don't have an income now anymore because we've lost our jobs, because we've lost our children. A lot of us are depressed and can't get up every day to go to work like we used to because our children have been ripped away from us and are being used for God only knows what, or shipped overseas. And so we want you people to know that no one's immune to this. We, the people, have got to stand together and make a stand. You know, if you don't, even if you still have your children, you still have your homes. There's human beings out there that need your help, that need hands, a helping hand. Don't take it for granted, you know, that it's going to be there, because it's not. So with that in mind, we'd like to ask you, what kind of education did you have? Are you a dropout, or did
Nope,
you
I graduated from high school.
And isn't that amazing how I've always thought it was somebody that was going to be a dropout that was the drug addict, that was the homeless person, or Vietnam vet. Really, we enjoy our freedom this much, and we can't hand out a cigarette to an Army vet that's put in and gave up and sacrificed everything he has, including his sanity, for our freedom? That's not what we want. That's not what we, the people, should want America to be looked at by our other countries. And if they have time to put up and put out, then I think that we should go, let's act like it's Christmas every day of the year. We should be giving instead of hoping to receive. So I'd like to think, is there, what else we got?
We have, look at the animals, dogs and cats, you know, and some of the people have to take care of their animals in their tents, or they have to make sure that they have dog food, cat food, a place to lay down and go to sleep, you know, and stuff. You know, it's like,
so if you, next time you have a bag, if you own a store or a public, you know, a business, and you get sacks that are torn, instead of discarding them, you know, call up your local humane society and do the humane side. Offer these things to them to give out to people who don't have the income to provide for these people, who have been everyday people, who have paid their taxes and done everything by all law-abiding citizens. All law-abiding citizens. We're not all criminals, or, you know, people who, well, I refuse to work in a society where there are no jobs. Or, oh, but Obama, he hasn't done us any favors by going in demanding that all of our restaurants and businesses have insurance for the employees. How many people are going to get their hours cut, or how many people are going to be laid off because they can't afford to pay for the insurance that this Obamacare is wanting us to have? So we need to keep these in mind, because again, and I hate to keep saying this over and over, but sometimes, like the attention deficit child, we need to be told 456 times that it's not a race thing. It's not a color thing.
And another thing is, every day when I'm out walking around or at the mission, I see new faces every day.
New faces every day.
Every day. New faces every day. Day and night, morning, next day. Today I've seen some new faces. Today. I've never seen.
Yeah, see, so it's just don't take it for granted. Make a sign. Meet us at the state capitol. June 13th, we're trying to get the people, if they've lost a home, if they've lost their children, if they've got loved ones in prison.
Be there.
Imagine a society where we didn't have to worry about where our next cup of coffee was going to come from, or our next cigarette. I'm not a cigarette smoker, but I know how it is to have medicine that I have to have just to be able to function in society due to a bad childhood. So when we do these things, we got to think out, am I my brother's keeper? Am I my brother's keeper? What do you think? So watch for these new people. You know, don't judge them because they're standing out there, because someday you may be the one standing out there that's being judged by on these criteria. If you got the stuff, you know, you're going to throw away, if you own a like Ace Buyers or somewhere that's hardware store, think about the person who might want to put a shower in so that these people can be clean. And if there is a job opportunity that comes knocking on the door, that they'll be able to clean up and get clean clothes done, thanks to these people that offer their churches and their nonprofits to provide for people who don't have. So if you had a chance to go out tomorrow for a job, do you feel like you would be prepared for it?
Yep.
So, so these aren't people who are not willing to work, are not willing to work. They want to work. The jobs aren't there. They want a cigarette. They want a cup of coffee. You know, I've talked often about the fair market value of items. What's the fair market value of a cup of coffee? Well, if you go into a restaurant, what, $1.25, $1.50 with unlimited refills?
Nowadays, I go out and look for cans. That's how I make my money.
Yeah,
you know, for deodorant, toothpaste.
Everything, items that we take for granted. Some of us have to beg, borrow, and steal. Well, it's not steal. That's why we want to keep our crime rate down. Help us to help the nonprofits and these people like the Archer, the Hope Buildings, you know, keep their doors open. Donate abundantly, you know, like as if you wanted to give. They say if you give, it says in the Bible, if you give, you'll get what you give. You'll get what you give. If you get 1%, you'll get blessed sevenfold. So keep that in mind as you're giving, and that you're hoping to change the future of tomorrow. Is this society we want to live and bring our children into, where there's people, you know, begging and bumming off the streets? No, it's not. Next time you see a homeless guy, you know, think about, you know, if he's an elderly man, you know, did he fight in our wars for our freedom? And we'd like to see you bring your signs and let the legislators know about the crisis.
Another thing what we should do is we should get everybody like a big, giant gym, like a church or something, and bring everybody in and during the wintertime.
Yeah, we must.
You know.
Yeah, we need to do that. In Coos Bay, they open up, and in Eugene's real good place. They open up. Excuse me. They open up their churches during the winter months because they don't want people sleeping outside in the cold and freezing to death. In Coos Bay, 2 winters ago, we had 2 gentlemen that that literally froze to death, sleeping on the ground. One was a Vietnam vet, and the other one was just a regular little old lady who had lost everything, and she got SSI, but she couldn't pay her rent because they raised it on her 3 times the amount because the income was raised. The income amount was raised to 3 times the amount of what you pay out for rent. So we need to stop second guessing people and stop judging people. Least ye judge that you be not judged, is what the Bible says. And we've got a couple minutes left, so I'm going to ask Lance, is there any last things that he would like to say to the public?
Yeah, there's a few homeless guys that are in a wheelchair right now, and they can't even get out of their wheelchair.
Yeah, how are they supposed to get?
Go to the bathroom and need help.
Yeah, where are the people who took their oaths of office?
Yeah.
That swore in to take care of the people, to make a change for the society, to be unbiased, unjudgmental. Where are these people now? We're trying to run a couple of us for in the congressionals for so that we get some people that aren't so much worried about their wallets and their pocketbooks, as what they are is trying to change or to control people's lives.
Or burnt, or their homes burnt, or their tents burnt, or their stuff is stolen, or it's.
Yes, there's a lot of people who get their stuff every day. Get their stuff, they got stashed somewhere because they can't carry it around a lot of stuff, and they get it stolen. Maybe by people who have homes. But these are things that we need to keep in mind as we're being non-judgmental from now on. And have hope. Give to hope. Give to the arts. Help. Don't throw something away that could be used to better somebody else's life. At the drop of a hat, just because we're don't have the time to drop it off at these places instead of to the Goodwill, who charges, or other people, And again, I'm not saying anything bad about the Goodwill. St. Vincent de Paul, they get a lot of stuff, but they give a lot of stuff, So if you want to give, get. If you want to give, get it back. Give. Is all we ask, And we thank you.
And one more we should do is we should start going out, holding signs for walking up and down the sidewalks and letting people know that half of us do not have jobs and half of us do have jobs.
And if they spend as much money, criminalize people, if they spend as much money trying to get people jobs and a place to stay as they did criminalizing us at the expense of our tax dollars, just think about how much we would see a change in 6 months to a year on people not being homeless.
Right.
And we thank you again, and we hope to see you
and we
real
hope
soon.
to see you again soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
We appreciate you very much. Okay, and you guys have a nice day.